Assalamu alaikum, this is Sojla Sahar from Mashriq.Tv. Today the first story is about Trump officials resign after rioters storm Capitol. More resignations may follow, including White House National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien. Several officials from President Donald Trump's administration resigned late Wednesday after the storming of the US Capitol by his supporters. The first to step down was Stephanie Grisham, the former White House press secretary and current chief of staff for First Lady Melania Trump. Later, White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthews stepped down effective immediately in response to incidents at Congress. White House Social Secretary Ricky Niceta also submitted her resignation. Our next story is about Gulf Summit, a deal on Qatar worries over Iran. This week's Gulf Cooperation Council summit in Saudi Arabia drew headlines for a deal to end the blockade of Qatar after 3.5 years, but it ended with a message to the incoming Biden administration on Iran. Qatar agreed to withdraw all lawsuits it has filed against its neighbors in courts around the world and to tone down its anti-Saudi media campaign. Egypt, which also took part in the blockade, announced it was ready to mend relations but asked Qatar to agree to discuss issues over which the two have clashed. The closing statement of the Gulf Summit didn't refer directly to the rift with Qatar but spoke about the need for a united stand against regional threats, mainly Iran, which was a primary point of contention between Saudi Arabia and Qatar. The Gulf leaders stressed that any future negotiations with Iran must address not only Iran's nuclear program but also its regional behavior and missile program. Gulf countries must be a part of any such negotiations, the statement said. Our next story is about Kim vows strengthen the country's military defenses. North Korea leader Kim Jong-un vowed to bolster North Korea's military in a speech at a major ruling party meeting that provides insights into his priorities amid growing economic challenges and a US presidential transition. Kim made clear his will to reliably protect the security of the country and people and the peaceful environment of the socialist construction by placing the state defense capabilities on a much higher level and put forth goals for realizing it, the Korean Central News Agency said. The state media report Thursday on Kim's speech to the Workers' Party Congress the previous day didn't elaborate. North Korea has previously underscored its need for nuclear weapons and missiles as a deterrent and a preemptive strike capability to cope with what it describes as American hostility. Our next story is about Turkey-Albania upgrade ties to strategic partnership. Countries set to bring new dimension in economic cooperation. Turkey and Albania on Wednesday signed an agreement to upgrade bilateral ties to a strategic partnership level. Speaking at a joint news conference with Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama following meetings in the capital Ankara, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan highlighted the historic ties between the two countries. We are planning to increase investments in infrastructure and tourism in Albania. We want to lift our economic cooperation to a new dimension, Erdogan said. The Turkish president also announced the construction of a new hospital in Albania in 3 months. Let's move on to our next story. Kosovo's president dissolves assembly, calls election. Vjosa Osmani orders election commission to prepare early parliamentary elections for February 14th. Kosovo's President Vjosa Osmani dissolved the assembly on Wednesday and called early parliamentary elections for February 14th. Earlier today, the Kosovo Constitutional Court issued a full verdict declaring the election of Abdullah Hoti's government illegal. Usmani also issued a decree dissolving the assembly. Kosovo's Central Election Commission was ordered to take all necessary actions for the organization and holding of parliamentary elections. Usmani's decision is based on constitutional responsibilities and the ruling of the Constitutional Court and followed talks with parliamentary parties and the Central Election Commission. Our next story is about Pentagon activates 6,200 National Guard members. The Defense Department has formally activated roughly 6,200 members of the National Guard from 6 northeastern states to help support the Capitol Police and other law enforcement in Washington in the wake of the deadly riot Wednesday that rocked the U.S. Capitol. Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller signed orders activating the National Guard from Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland for up to 30 days. A defense official said the goal is to have Guard members help secure the U.S. Capitol and the surrounding area through the January 20th inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. Our next story is about Sudan confirms it signs pact on normalizing ties with Israel. Sudan on Wednesday said it had signed an agreement with the United States that paves the way for the crash-strapped African nation to normalize relations with Israel and help clear some of its massive debt to the World Bank. Justice Minister Nasreddin Abdulbari signed the deal with visiting U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, according to the Prime Minister's office. Abdulbari said Sudan welcomed the reapproachment with Israel and other countries as well as the beginning of diplomatic relations. This is it for now. Thank you for watching Mashriq.Tv. If you have any queries, you can email us at info@Mashriq.Tv.